So welcome everyone to ISKCON Whitefield Siksha Siksha sessions on Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13 to 18 that we are going to do together. Um, you can mute for self, and whenever you want to talk, ask questions, you can unmute and then ask. Otherwise, there will
Okay.
be some disturbances.
Okay.
Okay.
But
So
Prabhuji, whatever you have chanted, can you send us so that I can write down?
sure, yes, I'll send
Okay.
you. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll send this link and yeah, it's in the introduction of the Bhagavad Gita. So if you have Bhagavad Gita, do you have Bhagavad Gita book? Do you have Bhagavad Gita book?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, so if you open the first few pages, in the
Huh.
introduction, these prayers are there.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So let's start with our chapter 13. So I assume that you all have read and discussed in the previous sessions till chapter 12, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. Uh, okay. So, so the way we will go is, reading each and every text and purport is, I don't think we'll be able to finish it then. So the
Hmm.
way I think is that we will read the translation, and in the purport I have marked some important, highlighted some important sections. So these
Okay.
sections only I will read, and I will go through summary study, and we will answer questions and answers. You can always interrupt me and ask questions in between. There is no problem. Okay.
Hmm.
So as you know, Bhagavad Gita was spoken on a battlefield 5,000 years ago in the place Kurukshetra, which was fought between family members. Basically, it was a property fight. On one side, there were the Pandavas, on the other side, there were the Kauravas. And they were fighting because the Kauravas, headed by Duryodhan, he didn't want to give the property back to Yudhishthir Maharaj, Pandava, and his and Pandavas are the five brothers, headed by Yudhishthir Maharaj. So they were promised that they would be given their property back once they are back from the exile. They had some 13, 14 years of exile, and they completed that and they came back. And Duryodhan said, I don't want to give you back the kingdom. So many negotiations took place. Many told Duryodhan, if you don't give, then there will be war, there will be unnecessary fighting and all that. But Duryodhan said, I am not listening. So then Lord Krishna was there, and he said, the Kauravas, the Bhishma, Dhritarashtra, Vidura, and many other leaders, they have great respect for me. Even Duryodhan have great respect for me. And Pandavas, you love me like anything, you love me so much. So I am like a common person between the two. So let me go and negotiate. I will negotiate on your behalf.
Yes.
Let's find some solution. Then Yudhishthir Maharaj said, this Duryodhan is not listening. So many times you talk to him, but he's not listening. So what I will do is I will reduce my demand. Forget about the kingdom. We are five brothers, so let's reduce our demand to only five villages. I want to avoid this fighting. So I think five villages Duryodhan will agree to give. So Krishna said, okay, fine, I will talk to him. I'll say you want five villages only. And when Krishna reached Hastinapur, and he told to Krishna that he told to Duryodhan that Yudhishthir Maharaj is asking for five villages. So then Duryodhan said, I won't give. I won't give a land which is equal to a tip of a needle. So then he refused. And Krishna said, now you are forcing a war on all of us. And you are responsible for it, Duryodhan. And Duryodhan tried to capture Krishna, but Krishna showed his Virat Roop and confused Duryodhan and his 99 brothers, and they couldn't capture him. And Krishna returned to Pandavas and he said, "Get ready for battle." So they started collecting, armies. Duryodhan had the biggest army. Pandavas had slightly less army, and they came to this place called Kurukshetra. Hmm. This Kurukshetra is in north of India, in Haryana, present day Haryana, and it's a holy place. At that holy place, they decided we will fight with each other, and whoever wins will um, get the kingdom. So then, in the month of December, we celebrated Gita Jayanti. On that very particular day, the war was fought. It started, and for 18 days the war was fought, and the Pandavas won. In the very first hour of this war, Arjuna told Krishna, who was his charioteer, "Take me in the middle of the battlefield." You know, let me just pull out some PPT. Hmm. Yeah, this is better. So Krishna is the charioteer of Arjuna. He's the driver basically. So he said, "I'm not going to take part in this war, but I'll take part in a passive role, not an active role. No killing from me, but passive role." So he said, Arjuna said, "Become my driver." So he became his charioteer, and then Arjuna told to Krishna in the very first hour, in the very first few minutes of the war, "Take me in the middle of the battlefield. I want to see who all have come. I want to see who all have come." Like, this is a property fight in Indian High Court, and one relative stands up and he says, "I want to see who all have come." Sorry. I want to see who all have come. So Krishna, very interestingly, he took in the middle of the battlefield and placed in front of Bhishma and Dronacharya. Now, why Bhishma and Dronacharya? Because Bhishma is his grandfather and Dronacharya is teacher. So, looking his grandfather and sorry, we have some lot of disturbances. People are joining. So, looking at his grandfather and teacher, Arjuna became very compassionate. He was like with loving eyes, he was looking at them. And at that very point, he started thinking, we all have assembled here for what reason? And this is a war. And in war, people die. And my favorite grandfather and my favorite teacher have come to fight. But they are not fighting on my side. They are fighting on the other side. And I will have to fight against them. And I will have to kill them, and they will get killed, and so many of them will get killed with my grandfather and teacher, my uncles, my friends, my cousin brothers, my friends, and my own people will get killed. And uh, and he started thinking, as a king also, so many people will die. What will happen to the women? What will happen to the children? They won't have elders. Without elders, how will the children be trained? Who will teach them what is right, what is wrong, what are the rituals, what are the parampara? Who will teach all this? The women, they will be unprotected. Then the children that will come from that will be untrained. Varna Sankara. So many problems he saw, and because of that, society will go down, and there will be no welfare projects because the leaders are untrained, they are irreligious, they are immoral, they are unethical. I only see difficulty, I only see problems, and big problems out of this war. So he told Krishna in the very first chapter that I don't think I should fight this war. I only see problems in this war. And this was true, because we saw that in World War II, after World War II, there was big problems in Germany, in Europe. So many people got killed in World War One, World War II. Presently, a war is going on in between Ukraine and Russia. So many
Russia.
innocent people are dying. So the result of the war is always ghastly. So Arjuna was right in thinking that the result is ghastly. If I can avoid it, the best it is. So therefore he told Krishna, I don't want to fight. But at the same time, Arjuna knew what his duty was. And as a king, he had to fight. And this war was for a just reason. There was this evil Duryodhan who tried to kill the Pandavas, insult them, put them on fire, and insult Draupadi. And every day he was planning something, to keep these Pandavas down. And he even rejected a very simple offer of 5 villages. I mean, when you have acres and acres of land, thousands and millions of acres of land, and what is that compared to in front of 5 villages? He was so adamant. So there was a point of getting rid of such a unreasonable, evil Duryodhan. So thinking all this, he knew that he had to act, he had to fight. But at the same time, weakness had come into his heart. How can I kill my family members, my swajanas? So then he turned to Krishna. Krishna, you are the most wise person. I surrender unto you and I become your disciple. No more friendship. Disciple means I'm your student, you are my teacher, and I'm opening my ears to listen from you to tell me what is best in this situation for me. You tell me, Krishna. That's when Bhagavad Gita, Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. And he said, whatever decisions we take in our life, we should take from our real identity that we have. What is our real identity? Our real identity is that we are not the external that we see. There is something within our body which remains the same when our external body changes from boyhood to youth to old age. And that is called as Atma, the spiritual spark. That Atma is never killed, is never cut, is never dried, is cannot be destroyed at all. Undestructible. It is taking new bodies just like we are changing clothes every day. So giving this knowledge of soul, that we are actually, our identity is the soul but not the external body. Our external body is just like a machine. Yantra maya hi rudad, yantra maya. It is just a yantra means machine. Eyes are like camera. Heart is a pump, right? Heart is a pump, right? If heart fails, and if the doctor comes to know, okay, heart is failing, we need put a pacemaker. What is a pacemaker? It is an electrical machine which gives provides pulse to the heart. So ultimately, heart is just a pump. So who is giving that electric pulse? The soul is giving that electric pulse. Therefore, Krishna says our real identity is the soul, and whatever decisions we take in our life should be taken from the perspective of the soul. What is good for the soul? What is good for its next journey? What is this cycle of birth and death? What karma should we perform? What is good for this soul? From that perspective, Arjuna, you decide what you have to do. And then he starts speaking the whole Bhagavad Gita, of which the first 6 chapter he says about karma. The karma that we have to perform. We have to perform the karma in such a way that the result will be welfare for everyone. The result will be good. The result will be detached from the results as a matter of duty. You know, when police people or doctor, they save somebody, and relatives and friends and family members, they are telling, that person, that victim is telling him, thank you very much. What is the army person, the doctor telling them? Oh, it is my duty. So Krishna says the same thing to Arjuna. He says, do your duty in a detached way. Don't think about result, failure, success, and all that. Do your duty in a detached way. Just for the sake of doing duty, you do your duty, and it should be for the welfare of all. It should be according to the Vedic scriptures, and don't be so attached to the result. The result is not in your hand. Your hand only you have is your efforts. So put efforts, and the result will come from the Supreme Lord. So that karma, he says that if you perform for the satisfaction of the Supreme, that is the highest yoga. That is the highest karma that you can perform. And when you prove that, then there is no reaction. You won't be entitled. You are fearing, right? I am going to kill so many people. So many sins are going to happen. No, because you did it on the behalf of the Supreme Lord, you are not to be blamed. Just like a soldier, he kills. He kills. Um, just a minute. Somebody is saying. Just like a soldier, he kills. He kills on the order of the government, on the order of the king. And the king, when he comes back, the king awards him Paramveer Chakra. He doesn't say, "Oh, you killed so many people. You killed so many people. Now I will put you to jail because you killed so many people." No, you did it on the order of the king, on the order of authority. So on the order of the authority, Arjuna, you become Nimitta Matra. This is what you read, right? In 11th chapter, become Nimitta Matra. Nimitta Matra means become instrument in the hands. Okay, in the hands you become instrument. In my hands you become the instrument, and I'll get rid of these Kauravas. I'll get rid of Jarasandha, Yudhishthir, sorry, Duryodhan, Bhishma, Dronacharya, everyone you think of. I'll get rid of all that. You become my instrument. So in that process he says about karma yoga, and then he says, you do it for my sake, oh Arjuna. Now why Krishna? Why one should do it for Krishna's sake? So then Krishna from 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita opens up his biodata. He tells, who am I? Aham sarvasya pravo matta sarva pravartate. I am, from me comes everything. Right? From me comes everything. I'm like the string in the pearl necklace, which nobody sees, but everyone knows that the pearl necklace has a string within it. Therefore, the pearls are in place. Then he says, everyone is confused about me. The demigods don't know me, the Rishi Munis don't know me. And those who know me, they worship me. They come back to me. My abode doesn't require any electricity. And Arjuna, if you perform devotional service onto me, then you will be perfect. And you don't have to worry for all these things. Just a minute. Somebody is saying. Okay. So then you will be perfect. Um. So yeah. So then Arjuna says, yeah. I always thought, why are so many sages are coming to you and they're bowing down to you. I didn't understand that. So now I understand that you are the um. Okay. Somebody is having one problem. Just a minute. Okay. So yeah. So many Rishi Munis are coming to you, they are bowing down to you. I was thinking they were doing it just like like because you are the king, but actually now you are telling me you are the supreme lord from whom everything comes. Param Dhama Paramam. Now please show me the universal form. So why Arjuna asked about the universal form? Because if somebody says I am God, then he has to show how he is God. Right? In today's world, there are many people who say I am God. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also says, I am God. So then what is the difference? So within Bhagavad Gita, only the difference is there. What is the difference? Krishna showed universal form to Arjuna. So somebody on the road walks up and says, I am God. Then you should tell him, okay, show me a universal form. And if they cannot show, then you should say, you're not God. And if somebody bluffs up and says, yeah, he showed me universal form, then we should go to him and say, okay, Krishna lifted Govardhan. Can you lift this table on your pinky finger? And he won't be able to do. Can you expand like Krishna 16,108? He cannot be. We won't be able to do. So then we can tell him, get lost. You are not God. So we have to be very careful of these so-called people who call themselves God. And every now and then, every month, every other month, we see so many godmen getting caught by police, and so many scams they are providing, they are doing. They abuse women, they abuse children, they get only money. So we have to be very careful of these so-called gods. They are pseudo gods, they are
Bhagavad
fake
Gita.
gods.
Bhagavad Gita.
So Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, he showed his universal form, and by showing his universal form he proved that he is God. And then Arjuna says, yeah, you are the supreme lord. And um, and then then Krishna, then he requests Krishna, you come back into your four-handed form, you come back into your two-handed form. Okay, in the 11th chapter we read that. After coming that, then Krishna says, yes, I am the supreme lord, but because you are Arjuna, you are my friend, you are my friend, you are my devotee, that's why I'm telling you. Now why Krishna says I only tell to my devotee? And the reason for that is, if somebody says, I am lakpati, I am karodpati, I am millionaire, I am billionaire, I have 20,000 cars, but if he tells to somebody walking on the road, or someone who is his enemy, that enemy's person will become envious, right? But if he tells to his friend, I purchased my 20,000 car, but the friend will say, fine, man, great thing. Because he's a friend, he's loving. So he doesn't care 20,000, he doesn't care for all that number. He's happy. But an envious person will say, why him? Why not me? So therefore, Krishna says, this knowledge that I'm giving you, Arjuna, that I am the Supreme Lord, is a very secretive knowledge. So in the ninth chapter, he says this thing. It's a very secretive knowledge. Therefore, Arjuna, this knowledge is only for a devotee, that I am the Supreme Lord. And then he gives even more Guhyam knowledge. Guhyam knowledge means secret knowledge. So Bhagavad Gita is available to everyone, but still Bhagavad Gita has some secret things in it. And he gives this 12th chapter, which you read recently before joining here. And here Krishna says, um, he gives knowledge of, he tells confidential knowledge. Give me some more confidential knowledge, detail. What is it? So then Krishna says, okay, now that you have seen opulences of me, I will tell you how to come back to me. Sorry, this is 11th chapter. I'm talking about 12th chapter. Yeah. How you should fix your mind on me? You should fix your mind on me through bhakti, through devotional service. And then in the 12th chapter, he gives, if you cannot fix your mind on me, then practice sadhana bhakti. Sadhana bhakti means rules and regulations. Just like we all are doing sadhana bhakti, right? We chant certain number of rounds, whatever, 1 round, 2 round, 4 round, 8 round, 10 round, 12 round, 16 rounds, right? Every day we do those. So this is called sadhana. Sadhana means practice. Just like tennis player, cricket player, hockey player, mathematician, those who are doing PhD in mathematics or MSc in mathematics or physics, chemistry, they practice, right? Every day they practice. They practice the same thing. Those who have children who are in 10th standard, 12th standard, you will see them practicing mathematics, practicing physics, chemistry, or commerce equations and exercises again and again and again. Why? Because then they will come to the perfect stage. They'll be in the top 100 rank, and luckily they can be the first one also. So practice, he said, you can do bhakti with practice. Hmm? So sadhana bhakti he recommends. But those who said even that is not possible, then whatever work you do, you get some result out of it, that you give it to me. If that also you cannot do, then engage in some cultivation of knowledge. This knowledge doesn't mean physics, chemistry, math. This knowledge means spiritual knowledge. Do some meditation. Why? Because if you do meditation, then you will calm yourself. You won't go crazy, enjoying, trying to enjoying this world. Those who do meditation outside, they stop everything. and for 1 hour they do this meditation. They are spending this 1 hour not watching television, or enjoying or running here and there after this movie, that movie. So they will detach from the busy life, and slowly they'll come to this mind that I have to attain peace of mind first. Hmm? And they will renounce certain fruits of actions. They will charity, donate and all that. And slowly they'll come to this perfectional stage of bhakti yoga by cultivating knowledge, renunciation, meditation, and working for Krishna, donating for Krishna, charity, and all that. Then they'll come to sadhana bhakti, and they will also chant Hare Krishna. And then he talks about what a devotee does. A devotee is non-envious. He's equal in equipoise in happiness and distress. He's not disturbed by anyone. He doesn't disturb anyone. He's not dependent on course of activity. He neither rejoices nor grieves. Rejoices nor grieves. Meaning, he become happy? Yes, he becomes happy. And does he become sad? Yes, he becomes sad. But he doesn't go with it. Some happiness he takes and he says, "Fine, I'm not going to run with it. I'm not going to be carried with it." So with sadness and happiness, he's not carried with it. Sometimes people are carried with that happiness, carried with sadness. Okay, then he's equal in happiness, distress, fame, infame, and all that. And then ultimately says, one who does like this is very dear to me, and they come to me and make me my supreme goal. Okay, so this is how he finishes the bhakti part of Bhagavad Gita, and then he says, I will give you knowledge. Why he says knowledge? Because in chapter 10 of the 10, he says, those who are constantly devoted in serving me with love, okay, I give them the understanding by which they can come to me. So Krishna has to give some knowledge to come to me, right? So that knowledge he starts giving from 13th chapter. And this knowledge is jnana. Jnana is what? Jnana is where one will analyze, his own existence, this material world. Who am I? Like that. What is this nature? What is Purusha? What is exactly all these things? Like I showed you this picture, right? So he will analyze his body, and he will try to come to conclusion. Oh, reality is this. I am this person, but I am not the external. And when he gets this understanding, this knowledge, then he becomes detached, and he can practice Krishna consciousness in a better way. Right? When we get knowledge, we can practice Krishna consciousness in a better way. So this knowledge is important. What all knowledge is there? What all chapters is going to talk about from 13? He's going to talk about nature, enjoy, consciousness, three modes of material nature, yoga of the supreme, divine and demoniac nature, divisions of faith. And then at the end, 18th chapter, he will conclude, and there will be a mix of karma, jnana, bhakti, everything inside that. Ultimately end with surrender. Okay, so this is how Krishna is going to finish up these chapters. And at this point, before I start the 13th chapter, any questions or comments? Any questions or comments you want to ask? We can spend some time with some questions or comments. Anything you want to ask at this point? You can unmute and speak. So, yeah, try to keep the sessions very interactive. So, like I said, reading every purport is not possible. So, I have decided to cover a minimum of 8 verses per session, and that's how till May end we'll be able to complete Bhagavad Gita 13 to 18. Okay. So the way I will go is, we will read the translation, and in the purport there are certain sections that I have highlighted. We will read that, and then we'll go. We won't read the whole purport, only the sections that I have highlighted. And like this, we'll try to cover 8 verses per session. Okay, is that okay?
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so I will require volunteers who will read. Okay, so let me read first the
Prabhuji, can I read? Can
yeah,
I read?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay,
Hare
let's
Krishna.
read the translation. The very
Yes, yes.
first. Okay, before that, na, I
Arjun.
want to talk on the connection between chapter 12 and 13.
Okay.
Okay, so 12 was bhakti. Okay,
Hmm?
and
Hmm?
13 is, like I said, knowledge.
Knowledge, yeah.
Yeah, so we need this knowledge to become detached from the body.
Hmm.
See, our whole life, our whole education was how to be attached to this body. Okay,
Correct.
but real knowledge is how to become detached. See, those who become doctors and physicians and physiotherapists, right? Even they know that this body is just a machine, but still they don't become devotees.
Hmm.
Why? Because that knowledge is still rooted in body only. So Krishna is going to give a knowledge which is again going to talk about the anatomy of the body
Hmm.
in such a way that he's linking with the super soul.
Hmm.
Okay, so this
Hmm.
anatomy that we discussed in Bhagavad Gita links it to the super soul and the soul, which modern education doesn't do. Therefore, this knowledge brings in us detachment, because then we come to know, okay, I'm an eternal being, I'm not going to die with this life. So many people died in COVID, right? They have
Yeah.
taken birth somewhere in the universe.
Hmm.
So once we get this understanding, we become little fearless, and then
Hmm.
we focus on what is best for the soul. What is best for the soul? Spiritual life is best for the soul.
Hmm.
So then we focus on what Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, how to practice spiritual life. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay, so let's start with today's session. So any
Yes, Prabhuji.
questions, any comments you have, you can interrupt in between and ask. Okay, and I will
Yes, Prabhuji.
stop and we will discuss. Okay, so let's
Yes,
start with the translation. Go
yes,
ahead,
Prabhuji.
Maharani.
Arjuna said, "O my dear Krishna, I wish to know about Prakriti, nature, Purusha, the enjoyer, and the field and the knower of the field and of knowledge and the object of knowledge." The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "This body, O son of Kunti, is called the field, and one who knows this body is called the knower of the field."
Yeah, so Arjuna said, I want to know more about this knowledge which jnana is. And he said, I want to know about prakriti. Prakriti is what? Material nature. Technically, in simple words, it means, tell me about this earth, how this earth
Hmm.
is, how this material world is, how things are working, how karma is working. Second, he said purusha. Purusha means enjoyer, meaning there is there is someone who's controlling, because we work so hard, but sometimes you don't get the result. So that means the result is controlled by something else. What is it? Then tell me about the field and the knower of the field. See, a farmer, he has a field, right? So he sows something in the field and then he comes gets a plant out of it, right? Similarly, what actions we provide, where is the actions we do, and who knows about the actions? Tell me about that. And of knowledge and object of knowledge. What is real knowledge? Is it physics, chemistry, mathematics, finance, economics, medical, ayurveda, astrology, astronomy? Which is what is the real knowledge? And after knowing that knowledge, what is the object of knowledge? Why I should know that knowledge? What is the object? Object means what is the goal of that knowledge? I did PhD in physics. What is the goal? Can anyone tell me, those who do PhD in physics, chemistry, mathematics, whatever, management, finance, what is their goal after doing that whole knowledge?
To earn money,
Yeah, to earn money, to
Nothing,
get a job.
to get the fame.
nothing
Yeah.
other than earning money.
Sorry?
Nothing other than earning money.
Yeah, so now we are reading Bhagavad Gita. What is the goal of this knowledge? This is what Arjuna is asking.
Hmm.
Okay? So Krishna says, see, this body is a field. Interesting, right? This body is a field. And one who knows this body is the knower of the field. If you go back to our picture, this body is a field. Now in the field, what we do? We sow seed, we plant, we play, right? We sometimes take rest. So in this body, what is the knower of the body doing? The soul, right? So this is the field. What is he doing? Oh, he is using the field to see something in the material world. He is using the field to walk, to eat, to talk, right? So who is doing all that? The soul is desiring
The
that.
soul.
Yeah. And then um, just let me um, okay, it talks about knower of the field. Knower of the field. Okay. So Prakriti, he said. So Krishna started with the field and knowledge. He'll talk later. Knower of the field and field is what he's trying to answer first. So field is this body, and the knower of the field is the Atma. So the Atma is doing something in the field. Okay. Okay. So let's get into. So one thing I want to tell you is that when we talk about jnana means jnana yoga and all that, right? We should remember that traditionally jnana yoga is practiced in a very detached way. A person leaves home, family, and he contemplates on this jnana in a sannyas ashram, discussing seclusion from the material world, and then only using philosophy. Okay. So technically this is done this way, but right now Krishna is telling to Arjuna. So there will be a summary of the jnana. It won't be like the jnana is huge body. So summary is what Krishna is going to talk in 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 chapters. Okay. He's going to talk summary only. So traditionally jnana was done in a very sannyas way. Okay. But still that knowledge is required. The reason for it is because it helps in development. See, even though this jnana is kept for those who leave family life and go, right, but still that jnana is required in family life also, so that one can be detached within family life also. So that's why we are reading this jnana. Okay. Even though it is exclusively for jnana yoga, still it is in karma yoga also this knowledge helps. So that's why this purports and all that we are going to read is going to be very very technical. Okay. It's going to be very very dry also. So it's not going to be pastimes of Krishna, lifting Govardhan, stealing and all that. No, that is not jnana. Okay. So this is very technical knowledge. Philosophy. How many of you are students of philosophy here? Say yes or no.
No, Prabhuji.
No.
No,
Okay.
Prabhuji.
Okay.
Prabhuji.
Okay. Okay. So all Mataji are saying they are
Yeah, I
no.
don't know anything about
Some
philosophy.
Prabhuji will say I am yes. Some philosophy, Prabhuji will like. There are some
Hare
Matajis
Krishna
who will
Prabhuji.
like this philosophy also.
Hare Krishna.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Who's? Yeah. Mataji, you wanted to say something? No. Okay. Okay.
No,
Hare
Prabhu, no.
Krishna.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Tell Mataji. Tell.
Prabhuji.
Yeah. 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 We can hear you. Tell.
Hare Krishna. Anybody there?
Yes. Yes. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So
Yes, Prabhuji.
Mataji, tell that Mataji to join again because she must have lost some connection, I think.
Saroja Mataji, are you there?
Yes. Yes, I am there. I am here.
Okay. Okay. So the knowledge here na in this chapter is very dry. Okay. So sometimes I'll go a little faster because this is theoretical knowledge. Okay. So who was reading?
Hema Mataji. Can I read further?
or someone
Hello?
else can also read. Yeah,
Can I read?
yeah. Read whatever is highlighted in the yellow.
Yeah. This body is the field of activity for the conditioned soul. The conditioned soul is entrapped in material existence and he attempts to lord it over material nature. And so, according to his capacity to dominate material nature, he gets a field of activity. That field of activity is the body.
Yeah.
And what is the
So
body?
wait. So see, every soul has a desire. I want to dominate material nature.
Hmm.
Okay. See, we are in this body, right? We also want to dominate. In the family
Yes.
life, we also want to dominate. If a child wants to
Yes.
dominate, right?
Yes.
I want this, I want that. Husband comes home and he also says, I want to dominate. What did you cook?
Hmm.
The wife will also reply and say, I also want to dominate. So, um, so this desire to dominate, this desire to control is there in everybody. So what Krishna
Hmm.
does, soul, you have the desire to control, right? So I will give you this external body. You try to control
Hmm.
in this material world. Here, I give you, and now you try to control.
Yes.
You must have seen children playing video games.
Yeah.
Okay, and each one will take. Suppose there are 7 8 players in that game, and each one will take one role in it, and he will say,
Correct.
I will drive this red car, I will drive the blue car, I will drive this jeep. So they want to dominate, they want to dominate on the same road and come first, right? So then the game
Hmm.
will say how many users are there. So the game will ask, okay, 8 users, then eight particular kind of bodies it will give, and it will say this is your field of activity, do whatever you want. And what is the goal? You have to enjoy by getting first, right? So
Hmm.
Krishna does the same thing, material world. Take this body. You want man's body, woman's body. You want to be like a lion. You want to be like a whale. You want to sleep always. Take the North Bear body and now try to enjoy.
Hmm.
So, so when we understand, oh, this body is just like that only. Meaning, I had the desire to enjoy, and Krishna gave this body. Now I'm trying to enjoy. I'm trying to enjoy. I'm trying to enjoy. But what is happening? What is happening? We try to enjoy, and do we really enjoy?
No, Prabhuji, we are not enjoying anything. We
Yeah.
wanted to enjoy, but
So
we are
when
not
we
enjoying.
come to this point that we are actually not enjoying, then we turn towards knowledge, towards jnana. We then scratch our head and say, oh, really? I'm trying to enjoy, but I'm not able to enjoy. What is in this world? What is happening? Why so many failures? I'm trying so hard. What is this real knowledge? Who is behind this whole thing? Who is controlling? Then he gets to knowledge. So that's why he says, okay. So then he understands, okay, the body is the field. Hmm?
Hmm.
We'll go a little faster. Okay, okay. This line I will read. Okay, I and
Hmm.
you or anyone else who owns the body is called Kshetragya. So now, with the soul owns this body, so he knows this is the his his field of activity, right? In the video game, he knows now I am the red car, I am the blue car, or I am the jeep, right? You must have seen children playing and they'll say, I am the red car, I am the fastest.
Hmm.
So Kshetragya, so now he knows he's the Kshetragya, knower of the activity. And what is his Kshetra? That particular blue car, red car, or whatever. See, we all drive, right? Two-wheeler, four-wheeler. So our four-wheeler, two-wheeler is the Kshetra, and we are the driver, so we are Kshetragya. We know our field of activity. This is my accelerator, this is my brake, this is the engine, this is the petrol, this is the battery, this is etc. Okay. Now the question is, what to do of all these things? Okay. Uh, okay. So technically we discussed all this. So let's go ahead with the next translation. Text number 3. Somebody read.
Shall I continue?
Yeah, I read. Huh.
While discussing the subject of the
No, no,
body,
no, wait. The translation. Sorry, translation.
O Sian of Bharata, you should understand that I am also the knower in all bodies. And to understand this body and its knower is called knowledge. That is my opinion.
Okay,
Purpose.
okay. Wait. So first we came to know that that the soul is the knower of the body, right? But Krishna, who is the super soul, he's saying, I'm knower of all the bodies. So I am also the Kshetrajna. Okay. And what is knowledge? Knowledge is to understand what is this body and who is the knower of this body. That is knowledge. So coming back to our picture, Krishna is saying, see, the soul is the knower of the body, right? Because he owns the body, he controls it, right? Similarly, there's someone else also within it. Which who is it? Paramatma,
Super soul.
super soul. So he is also knower of the body. He also knows what is happening. But there is some speciality of his. What is the speciality? There may be hundreds
Uh,
and thousands and millions of bodies. In all the bodies, the same super soul is there. But the Atma is
He is
different.
having four-handed.
No, that is external differentiation. But the understanding is, see, okay,
He is the plenary expansion of the supreme personality of Godhead.
okay. I'll show you what I'm trying to say. I will just show. Okay, now tell me in this picture how many bodies are there.
Four.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So how many souls are there?
4.
How many super souls are there?
4.
4.
No.
Achha.
One,
Okay.
two, three,
How many are there?
4.
1, 2,
One
1,
super
Three,
soul
3, 4.
and
Super
expansions
soul
from
is
the
16.
same
16.
super
4
soul
into 4,
expand.
16.
Only
No.
one super soul.
super soul is one in all the bodies.
Yes. So there are four individual souls, but when it came to super soul, he is the
Only
only one.
one.
Is
Oh,
only one.
understood.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay. So there are four children, only one parent.
Yes.
So that is what Krishna is saying. That I am the super soul and I am also knower of all the bodies. So now the
Yes.
question comes of all bodies.
Hmm.
So all bodies means how many bodies here? Four bodies, all bodies.
4 bodies.
And
Four
how many
bodies.
bodies are there in the universe? Unlimited.
Millions.
N number of
Crores.
bodies.
So super soul is always one.
Yes.
And the same super soul in my heart is the same in your heart, is the same in your
Yes.
child's heart, is the same in the dog's heart, is the same in the president of India's heart, is same
Oh.
in everywhere. But the soul
Hmm.
is different, right? Your soul is different than my soul,
Yes.
right?
Correct.
I have
Understood.
my ego. I am Mr. So and so. You have your ego. I am Mrs. So and so.
Yes.
But when it comes to super soul, he has only one ego, true ego. I am Krishna. I have expanded into all the beings sitting in their heart.
Hmm.
Okay. So Krishna uses the word all bodies.
Hmm.
While
Mm. Yes.
while individual soul he says single body. Okay. So
Mm.
Okay.
if you go to the previous verse, he says one who knows this body is the Atma and he's the knower of the field.
Hmm.
But there is somebody, the Supreme Atma, the Super Soul, he is the knower of all bodies. And that Super Soul I am.
Mm.
Krishna in previous chapters he said, right? Hridaya Tishtati. I am in everyone's heart. I am the Super Soul. He says that in everyone. So now he's clarifying. I know all bodies.
Yes.
Okay. So I am also the knower. So there are two knowers. One is the individual knower and one is supreme knower. And Krishna is the supreme knower. So now, what is knowledge? Knowledge is what is the field? Okay, this field. And now he talks about all bodies. So all the field, okay, material, nature, all bodies, everything, okay. Knowing that, to understand that, and the knower. Not two kinds of knower. Two kinds of knower means single knower, soul, and super soul. So now one who knows all these three things, So one is he knows soul. So what is the definition of knowledge that Krishna is giving? He's saying knowledge is equal
It's
to
a field.
one who
Field.
understands the body plus all bodies. Okay, there are so many bodies, right? Plus soul plus super soul, which Krishna. So one who understands all these things is the real knowledge. Now, in which standard in our engineering or medical or our school, high school, graduation, post graduation did we hear this is knowledge?
No.
Nowhere. So this is the
No, no.
separation of Bhagavad Gita spiritual knowledge versus material knowledge. Okay.
Mm.
Okay. So when Krishna said that is my opinion, that is the supreme opinion. This cannot be defeated.
But for examination, we have to read like that, no, Prabhuji?
Okay,
For,
good point. Good point. So we will for 1 minute we will discuss something else, which you all have read, but I am going to repeat that. Okay. Now the question is, we have to know physics, chemistry, mathematics, and all that, because we have to live in this world.
yes.
So how come we have to how come we have to neglect that?
Mm.
So yes, Krishna says we cannot neglect material knowledge, but at the same time we cannot neglect transcendental knowledge, spiritual knowledge, right?
Right.
So then how to do both of it? So in Ishopanishad, Krishna gives the solution. He says vidyamcha vidyamcha avidyamcha yas tad vidyo bhayam saha. What he says? Saha. Saha means
We.
saha. Saha means
Simultaneously.
yeah, simultaneously. So what he says, you have to learn the process of nations. What is nations?
Material.
Questions.
Material
Ah,
science.
material science, physics, chemistry, mathematics, finance, astrology, medicine, etc., etc., etc. Okay, where we earn
Mm.
money, law, education, medical science, everything. Okay,
Mm.
and that of transcendental knowledge. What is the transcendental knowledge?
That is Bhagavad Gita.
Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad, Vedanta
Mm.
Sutra,
Bhagavatam.
Bhagavatam. What is this? Side by side.
Simultaneously.
Side by side.
Together.
Yeah. That person only can transcend the influence of repeated birth and then enjoy the full blessings of immortality.
Oh,
So,
okay.
how we reconcile both? We have to learn both side by side. That's it.
Mm.
Okay. So, we should not neglect the other. Okay.
Mm.
But tell me, the word nations is used. Avidya. So, nations
Mm.
means what? Darkness. So, at
Mm.
some point of life, we have to give this up. And what is that point? Can you tell me? Darkness means failure. How come the knowledge of failure we have to give up? And when we have to give up?
Mm.
When the knowledge of physics, chemistry, mathematics, finance, astrology, astronomy, medicine, law will not work. There is a point in life where it will
After
not
our
work.
retirement.
When till death, after
Death.
death,
What is going to work at the time of death?
that time only
Remembrance of
think
Krishna.
about Krishna.
What is that called? Transcendental knowledge.
The knowledge, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So that is the only time where transcendental knowledge is triumphing over nations.
Mm.
Okay. So we have to
Mm.
learn both of it because for livelihood we need this knowledge. Transcendental
Yes.
knowledge, why we need? Because someday death is going to come
Yeah.
and we are not the
So,
body, we are the soul. So what is
So
important for the soul? Transcendental
that we
knowledge.
have to remember Krishna during death.
remember
Yeah.
Krishna at the time of death so
Yeah.
that we will attain
So
him.
so in modern education, what is most neglected? Transcendental knowledge. What we are
Mm.
learning? Process of nations. So while
Right.
dying, what people are thinking?
We
People
have
are
got so
thinking
much
about science and
money.
mathematics
Yeah.
instead of Krishna.
Instead of mathematics, yeah. I have a friend whose grandfather died thinking I should have got gold medal in my MSc mathematics.
I have got so much bank balance. I'm leaving that and
Yeah.
going.
Yes. Mr. Junjunwala who left, he was in so much anxiety. I started a airline. I mean, in this group, how many started a business? Did anyone start a business?
No, Prabhuji.
Actually, my
Okay,
husband
somebody
started a
started a
business.
business. How much they have to put
My
money in it?
my husband started a business.
Okay, how much money did he put? Few
He had put
lakhs.
lakhs.
Okay, how much money Junjunwala put in in starting his airplane business?
Crores.
Crores,
Crores
hundreds
only.
of crores he put.
Hmm.
So anyway, the point is, we have to learn both the knowledge side by side, and as we progress from married life to vanaprastha to sannyas, we should depend more on transcendent knowledge rather than nation's knowledge. Okay,
Hmm.
that is
Hmm.
how Vedic lifestyle is designed. Okay, okay. Now coming back to our session. Okay. So okay, so Krishna talked about spiritual super
Prabhuji,
soul.
I have to leave. I have to
Okay,
go
okay,
and
yeah.
take.
Whoever has to leave, no problem. I will continue 5 more minutes and I will also stop.
Okay,
So
Prabhuji. Thank
so
you.
okay. Um. So here Krishna is talking about this line. In every body there are two souls: individual soul, super soul. So individual soul knows about the body, but super soul he knows of all the bodies. So he is also a knower. Okay. So individual
Hmm.
soul doesn't know about other bodies, right? I don't know what is happening in your body. But the super soul knows what is happening in your body, my body, and everyone else's body. So therefore, he is also knower. Just like a citizen may know everything about his city or wherever he is staying. But the king or the prime minister, he knows everything that is happening all over the kingdom. Similarly, the the super soul is of that sense. Okay. Okay. Okay, so okay, text number 4. Somebody read this translation.
Yeah, Prabhu, I'll read, Prabhu.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Aksha, Prabhu. Now, please hear my brief description of the field of activity
And
and how it is
constituted.
how it is constituted, what 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 its changes are,
Whence it is produced.
whence it is produced, who that knower of the field of activities is, and what his influences are.
Okay, now what is the field of activity?
The body.
Yeah. Okay, so now question he's asking about the body. What it is? Oh, how is this body made of? What changes happen when it gets produced? Who is the knower of this? What all this knower can do, how it influences. So we'll go back to our picture and we'll take
Hmm.
our single body. Okay, so now he's asking what is this body made of. So can you tell me what is this body constituted of?
Bones and flesh, five
Water,
gross
air,
elements:
Okay, let's
earth,
start with
water, fire,
eyes.
air, ether,
Yeah,
and
water, fire,
air,
ether.
fire, air, ether, nose, eyes, sensories, right? And do you see the mind? The mind is a subtle thing. Do you see the intelligence? The intelligence is a subtle thing, right? So yeah, all of that material thing is the constitution. So
hmm.
I have these notes, and these notes will quickly tell us all that thing that we are trying to talk. I think we are here. Hmm. Okay, 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 okay. Okay. So See, 5 great elements, 24 in number. Okay, 5 sense objects, 11 senses, including the mind, intelligence, false ego. So this is its constitution. Okay, this is its constitution. What is the next question he asked? So we came to know constitution, what it is made of. What changes happen over there? What all changes happen in this body?
Uh,
Changes,
youth and
Prabhuji.
based on the
Birth, growth,
What happens?
age factor,
Yeah.
like child,
dwindles, and
What happens to the hair of the body?
birth, child, youth, and old age.
Good, good. And there is something more, right? What happens to the mind? What happens to the changes in the mind?
It evolves, Prabhu.
Fine. Mind, intelligence. Mind, intelligence, chitta. What changes it goes through it?
It stores lot of memories.
Okay, memory is fine. What is more? More than memory, what it stores?
From false ego to self realization.
And
the impressions which had happened,
what kind of impressions are there?
both positive and negative.
Okay, tell me a few other words. Good, bad.
Past impressions, past birth
So
impressions.
good, bad, sadness, happiness, right?
Sorrow.
Anxiety.
Success, failure.
Yeah.
Okay. So desire, hatred, happiness, distress. These things are happening in this gross body and subtle body both, right?
Yes.
All these changes are happening. Okay. Whence it is produced, when it is produced. So there's a process, right? Man and woman, husband, wife put together, and then bodies, they unite and have children and all that. How does the knower influence? How does the knower influence? How does the soul influence this body? The soul is providing the electric pulses for the heart, and the heart is pumping, and the blood, and it's functioning the body, right? Anything more the soul does more than this? The soul desires, so it's looking through the eyes. Now the soul is, say, in front of a sweet shop, Govindas, and the soul sees gulab jamun, right? The soul remembers gulab jamun is tasty. Why? Because the mind immediately tastes gulab jamun equal to sweetness. Then the soul will direct the hand and the leg. It will first direct the leg, go near the leg, will walk, tack 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 tack, go to the counter, remove the money, through the mouth speak, gulab jamun, I want gulab jamun, give the money, use the hand, pull out the money, give the money, take the coupon, give it to the person, right? The person then gives 2 gulab jamuns in a plate, use the hand, put the gulab jamun in the mouth, the tongue will taste it, and the mind will say, right, right, it is sweet again, it is sweet. And the soul will say, will become very happy. And then he may sing one more gulab jamun. Okay. So this is the process, how it influences. Getting? So we just talked about gulab jamun. There are so many other things that the soul does. The soul thinks he's a man. So when he looks at a woman, something happens. The soul thinks it's a woman. When he looks at the woman, man, something else happens. The soul looks at the money, something else happens. So this is how the process, how the influence is going on. Okay. So we talked about it, in a different way. Okay. So now we are, now our time is done. We are 7 minutes past 8:30. So we will stop. Any last question anyone has? One question I will take. Any question, any comment before we stop?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, Prabhuji, like philosophy, it's difficult to understand. And if you understand now also, after a few days, again the philosophy what says, like I forget what it is. Again, I
Okay.
have to,
Okay.
and how to remember it always.
Okay. Good. What is this? Do you see on the screen?
Yes, Prabhuji.
It is called spiral. It's a spiral, right?
Yes.
So what it says is, we have to take the example of a spiral in our studies, and we have to study, and then we complete one spiral. Then again we have to study the same thing again. Then again we have to study the same thing again and again and again and again and again. How many of you gone to Vrindavan Yatra or to Tirupati?
Vrindavan Yatra, Prabhuji.
Okay, you all must have gone to Tirupati also, or to
Yes.
ISKCON temple. Everyone must have gone to. Do you go to the different ISKCON temple, or you go to the same ISKCON temple every week?
Same.
Same, right? So you go to the same ISKCON temple, you hear the same Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and that impression is coming again and again and again and again and again and again and again, and it is becoming stronger and stronger and stronger. We go to the same Vrindavan Yatra and we see the same holy places, the same Govardhan, the same Radhakund, the same Shyamkund, and we are collecting the same impressions again and again and again and again. And over a period of time, when we do this, then we start remembering all that we have done. Now, to give this example, Lord Brahma, how many times did he study the Vedas? Do you know the answer?
No, Prabhuji.
He
No.
studied 3 times. Did he study different Vedas 3 times? No. He studied the same Veda 3 times. And Vedas, Lord Brahma, right? Lord Brahma studied Vedas 3 times. The first time he studied and he came to conclusion, Vedas talk about karma. The second time he studied, Vedas talk about jnana. The third time he studied and he said, no, actually they talk about bhakti, and therefore I will do bhakti. So point is, if you want to remember, we have to do it multiple times, just like a spiral goes. Okay. So we don't have to read Srila Prabhupada book one time. We have to read the same book again and again and again and again and again. The same purport, the same thing again and again. Okay. That's how we will remember, and that's how we will realize the knowledge also.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So we will stop for today.